it's something that's very, very important to men. I feel like all men should try to discover this energy that they have, this capacity that they have within them to be able to listen to other people, not just women. This does not just go for women, but listening to other men as well, other men who need help, other men who also, you know, without being sexual, like other men like to be intimate with other men. There are a lot of men's groups now being developed around the world because there is a genuine like missing link of intimacy between men. Hi guys, in this video I'm going to expand a little bit more on a video that I made earlier about how doing 100 days of celibacy actually helped improve relationships that I was having with women, and how it improved my energy completely. I mean, it completely just changed my life. It started when my friend actually came to me and said, you should try doing this 100 days of celibacy, because he's a Buddhist, and he said to me that it takes about 100 days for you to fully charge your chi energy. He was a Tibetan Buddhist, and I was obviously really fascinated by this, and he made a remark to me that I really sort of highlighted from it, which was that he said to me that you're going to have women just want to be around you a lot more. And I was obviously like, what bullshit is this supposed to be? Like, what do you mean by that? But I was always thinking about it, like, what could he possibly mean by that? Like, how does going celibate, or how does semen retention actually make women sort of want to be around you even more? And it really fascinated me, not just because of that reason, but for many different reasons. He said my energy would improve. He said I would feel a lot better. I'd be a lot more focused, a lot more clear-minded. He also said that he had done it before. And so I was really into sort of just all of that stuff. I was super into biohacking. I was super into staying super healthy. I also wanted to improve my focus. I also wanted to improve my health, my overall vitality. And so I gave it a shot, and I tried it about 5 times, the 100 days, before actually being able to complete it. And the first 4 times that I tried, I think I got to about 4 days, 8 days, 15 days, 20 days. And then the last one, I really just got it out of the way and just actually committed to the 100 days and completed it. And my experience with it was something really interesting. It was the first 20 days, I'll explain to you guys sort of like the timeline of how it worked. The first 20 days of doing it, you realize like you've never actually gone very long. I was 27 when I did it. I realized I had never really gone more than 2 weeks without not ejaculating. In one way or another, you know, it just sort of happens. It's something really normal where if you're a man and you want to sort of release, and if you want to just relax yourself, or if you want to just sort of get all this tension that you're building up out of your body, you can easily just like masturbate, or you can easily just go see a girl, or you can depends who you are, depends on whatever you want to do, but it's very easy to just ejaculate, have an orgasm. And I realized while I was doing it how difficult the first 20 days were, because for the first 20 days I was getting so sort of agitated by things, and I was getting so just fired up by everything. I felt what I was feeling is I had all this like built up energy, and it was like not helping me sleep. It was making really just like restless wherever I was, whenever I was sitting down, whenever I had to do like some deep focused work, whether it was on an Excel sheet or whether it was in a meeting or whatever. Whenever I had to sit still, I was just getting very like, you know, I just needed to keep moving my body, and I was trying so hard to take this tension away from like, you know, my pelvic area and like bring it into like other areas. And after those 20 days of just like really having to like discipline yourself, like stop thinking that you have to release, like this is good, you're building up energy, now you just need to put it into areas where you need them to focus. You need to put it into different parts of your body, aka different chakras in your body that allow you to sort of like keep the energy there. And like one of your chakras is your third eye up here, which is where all your creativity and focus come from. And so bring all this tension from your pelvic area up there. And I kept thinking about this, but at the same time, it was like the first time I was doing it, so it was very difficult, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And after the 20 days, you actually just start to feel like your whole energy, like all that tension that you're building up, it sort of filled you up so much that it's like it just settles down. It's not sort of like restless and constantly wanting to move. It's like settled down to this like very calm, very like strong, grounded energy. And I just noticed like the way I was talking to people was a lot different. The way I was like communicating, I wasn't stressed, I wasn't agitated anymore. I was calm and I was composed, and I had a lot of energy built up. Whereas if I ever needed it, if I ever needed to, let's say, have the energy to confront someone, or let's say set a boundary with someone, or just be very direct with someone, tell them how it is, I would have no problem doing it. Because it does take a lot of energy to do those things. If you want to get into a confrontation or an argument, a lot of the times you'll think like, oh, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not worth setting the boundary because then I have to deal with the argument with a friend, or maybe I have to deal with, you know, the confrontation of this person. So it's better I'll just leave it for later. And I felt like completely the opposite. I felt like I had so much energy to do all these things. And then I was able to take that energy from day 20 to about day 50. I was able to take that energy and like put it into areas of my life that needed the most focus. My creativity increased. I felt like I was speaking much clearer. I felt like I was more sort of aligned with what I wanted. And I felt like I could marshal my thoughts a lot more. And well, it was fantastic. I mean, I didn't even understand I could have this kind of energy, with this kind of flow, with this kind of like confrontational fearlessness that I had. And I felt like amazing. These like from day 20 to day 30, I felt amazing. And then once it came down to day 50, you actually feel like you're so used to this way of living, feeling, waking up every day, just like bang, wake up. It was like I would never wake up groggy. I would always wake up like full of energy. Even if I just had like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, I would feel amazing waking up. And I knew that's because there was something in my body that was just waking me up when I had to wake up. I was like, my testosterone was jumping up, my serotonin, dopamine, it was all getting up as I was like waking up in the morning. Whereas usually if perhaps if your testosterone is very low, if you're doing something that's taking up all your serotonin and dopamine, when you wake up in the morning, it'll take a little bit longer for you to like jumpstart your body and getting into like building up momentum into actually doing whatever it is that you have to do. But I felt like I was feeling really good, waking up very clearly, even if it was 6 a.m., 7 a.m., it was very, very easy for me. And I'm not someone who used to wake up very, very early. And the more I was doing this, the more I was realizing like, wow, this is such a good state to be in. And I've never, ever consistently lived my life in this state. And I think for me personally, past day 50, it's then a matter of not even ejaculating. It's like you have to look at your life where you are actually sabotaging yourself, where you are actually inflicting self-sabotage, like scrolling on the internet. Even if you are just on Instagram and you are just like going on like different girls' profiles, or you're just scrolling on your feed like mindlessly without really thinking like, why am I really here? What am I actually doing? Is this pushing me closer towards my goals, or is this just taking me into a further state of like dopamine, or in need of dopamine? And the more you see that, the more you realize like actually masturbation or ejaculation, those aren't even those are bad. I mean, those are bad if you want to save your energy and sort of build up this natural energy that you have as a man. But also things like scrolling on the internet, things like watching porn. You don't even have to masturbate, but just watching porn is so pointless and destructive and bad. And if you commit to doing those kinds of things, you're actually just, in a way, self-sabotaging yourself, self-destructing the goals that you have, the person that you want to become, and basically just keeping yourself like looping around the same sort of dopamine circle that you've been going in for ages. And you don't want to be doing that. You want to be focused. You want to basically take out all the things out of your life, which it does require a lot of energy and it does require a lot of willpower to take these things out. But the good thing is because you spent 50 days building up all this energy in you, then you have the energy to actually take down all these sort of like bad habits that you've been inflicting on yourself, probably not even out of choice, probably just because naturally we gravitate towards whatever makes us feel good. And those are usually like dopamine reward inducing things that we see as rewards, but they aren't actually rewards. And then I spent 50 days doing this, but then unconsciously, what I didn't realize was that, you know, with all this energy that was being built up, I never actually realized that one of the biggest fundamental things that it gave me by having a high energy was it gave me the energy to listen. It gave me the energy to listen to people. It gave me the energy to listen to women. And this was something that I realized why it was actually so powerful when my friend told me that women are going to surround themselves around, women are going to want to surround themselves around you, and you're not going to know why. And I never understood what he meant by this. And so this is exactly what happened, and how I realized why women just wanted to spend more time around me. It's because I had the capacity to listen. Because usually, like throughout my entire life, I would sort of be very not out of touch with like my masculine energy. I wouldn't really know what it was. But nevertheless, it was energy, and it was energy that I was expending every single time I had a build-up of too much of it. And me getting rid of all that energy, it was taking away the energy I needed to actually listen to people. When I was having conversations with girls, let's say if I found a girl attractive, like the only thing that would be going on in my mind was just like, okay, like maybe I could date her, maybe I could be with her, maybe we could do something later, even if not today. Maybe I could just make myself attractive to her so that she's attracted to me. And if she's not attracted to me, like, sorry, like I'm not even interested. I'm not even going to spend my time or waste my time with her. Which, like, yeah, if you have this kind of energy, I think women are much more in tune than men are when it comes to actually like looking at someone, looking at their facial expression, looking at their body language, and sensing exactly what their intentions are, or if what they're saying is true or not, or if what they're feeling is what they're actually feeling, or what women are constantly like looking out for signals, and I do feel like they're much better at looking at these signals than men. And women also talk a lot more than men do, like a lot more than men do. Men like to like explain things, but women can go like talk for days about like their relationships, their feelings, how something made them feel, things that they're interested in, things that they want to do in life, blah, blah, blah. They can talk nonstop, which is not a bad thing. It's actually a beautiful thing. But it does take a really sort of, it does take a lot of energy to listen to it. And sometimes like men, the way they think is they compartmentalize thinking. So we think about like video games. We want to think about just playing video games. Video games is everything. And then, video games we're playing with our buddies. And then like we can just completely neglect a girlfriend, or we're cooking and like all we're doing is cooking, like, and we can completely neglect work and just focus on like cooking, chopping the onion perfectly and this and that. And then it's like time for girlfriend, and we just spend like all our time with our girlfriend, and that's really nice. But then we completely neglect like work or cooking or playing video games, and we're just focusing on our girlfriends or wives. Whereas like women, it's like one thing always leads to another. Like the reason why my husband came in and he was upset was probably because, this and this thing happened, and then my child was playing on the ground, and that happened, and then shit, so I got to do this, and I got to do the cooking, and it's like a woman's mind. That's why women are so amazing at multitasking, because they can move from like different things to one another. But for a man, to be good at multitasking, like he does need a lot of energy. And if he doesn't have that energy or that capacity to sort of like listen, not only listen, but sort of like absorb women and how they're feeling. And this honestly isn't just really limited to women. It's like a man's sort of aura when he's in his like true masculine form, or when he's in his true like masculine energy. He doesn't just settle women down, he can settle other men down. When everything is like chaotic, when everything is like, all over the place, like a real man can just organize things, fix things, build things when he needs, fight off things. But he can settle people down. At least like my understanding of like true masculine energy is being able, or having the capacity to settle people down. Take the example of, let's say, like the chief of a village. His highest responsibility is to look over like not only his family, but the entire village. Even if that village is just like 100 people, it's like he has his family, maybe they could be like, I don't know, 5 to 8 of them. And then he could also have his village, which could be 100. But his responsibility is to help the village, settle the village. And the way he does this is he uses like the other men in the village, he uses them as a sort of productive element of the village. And then he obviously has the women, who are also a productive element of the village. They have children, they take care of all the homey, natural, beautiful things, and then maybe the men can go like hunting or whatever and like build walls around the village to protect it. But nevertheless, like the chief has to protect his village, and the chief has to really step into a truly masculine, responsible energy if he's going to do that. And so I was always thinking about this, and this was something that when I had to sort of like talk to girls or my female friends, that I never really felt like I had been like intimate with them. And I always thought there was like if in order to be intimate, it has to be sexually intimate. But I realized they were like completely separate things. Like you can be intimate with someone and not be sexual with them. You can be sexual with someone and not be intimate at all. And I realized that like intimacy was so much more about listening to the person. It was so much more about just getting them down and just making them feel like they were in a sort of a cocoon of safety when they were with me. And because I always felt like whenever I was talking to girls, I was always just trying to get something from them. Like I was trying to like be with them, or I was trying to do something with them. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't even bother listening to them. I would just be like, cool, like, you know, like go tell your problems to someone else, instead of being manly enough to just sort of like look at them, instead of, okay, even if I am attracted to them, I can put that aside and say, like, you can talk to me about anything. And there's nothing I'm going to expect of you, but you can offload, you can share, you can talk to someone about these things. And once you have that intention, and once you have the sort of energy to make someone feel that way, you will feel like women actually want to just like connect with you so much deeper, because they're not feeling like, oh, this guy's just trying to have sex with me, or like, oh, this guy's only being nice to me because he wants something from me. He's actually just genuinely wanting to like listen to me and give something nice to me without expecting anything in return. And this was something like, it wasn't just something I was intentionally trying to do. Like I genuinely, by being able to put like ejaculation aside and all, sort of like, even if something were to happen, like it's not going to really be, you know, it's not going to get to the end, and you don't have to worry, because I'm going to put that aside and just focus on you right now. And I realized like if every time I was talking to like one of my female friends, I was able to get so much more intimate with them. I was able to like tell them so many nicer things about themselves. I was also able to ask them like deeper questions than I would have usually asked, without sort of giving them the feeling of like, oh, like I'm asking you this because I'm trying to sort of like flirt with you, or I'm trying to make you feel sexualized. Or no, it's like, no, like all of that move aside, like I'm genuinely trying to connect with you, and like without any expectations of it. This was something that I was like blown away by, because it does take so much energy to listen to people. It does take so much energy to you know, connect with people, because a lot of the time, if someone's offloading their things to you, and they're you're putting a lot of things on you, and you don't have the energy to just absorb it, take it in, and then, you know, you don't even have to sort of like, you know, they tell you their problems and you have to give them a solution. In fact, they don't really like that, and it's almost always never really the reason why they're telling you their problems in the first place. But when they tell you these problems, if you can't absorb and listen to like, where are they coming from? What are they saying? And instead of giving them advice, maybe I can just listen and absorb all these things that they're telling me. And in doing so, like they'll feel much more heard. They'll feel much more, they'll feel able to connect with you much more. They'll also be able to feel much more intimate with you. And therefore they'll also probably be much more likely to be attracted to you, when you can just put all that shit aside and just focus on them, and focus on making them feel heard, making them feel listened to. How this affected relationships that I had, when I was doing, I would like to do like Semen Retention even after I was doing the 100 days. And even when I had girlfriends, I would tell them like, look, it would be great if we just did like, if I could just do like 100 days, not 100 days, sorry. If I could just do like 10 or 20 days, just for me to like fully recharge myself and get back into like, you know, feeling really good and energetic and everything. And I can't say that all of them were like really understood why I was doing it, because obviously like it's really hard for a woman to understand why a man would try to restrict himself from ejaculating or having an orgasm. But that's only because a woman's orgasm, women actually draw energy in when they have an orgasm. And when men have an orgasm, they release. Unless you practice, there are some practices that you can do that you can also draw the energy back in. But that's for a different video. But women have a different orgasm to a man. And so women get energized from an orgasm, and men get sort of depleted from having an orgasm or ejaculating. And also there's also like a satisfying part of like when, you know, you when obviously like where a woman wants to feel good and she knows that if she can make a man finish, that also makes her feel very good about herself, because it sort of signals that, oh, he's attracted to me and I made him, I made him feel this way, and he sort of was able to be vulnerable, and I guess, I don't know, vulnerable, but ejaculate, and I made him do that. So you can always feel proud of like, yeah, I made him do that. And if you don't, then you sort of feel like, oh, maybe he's not attracted to me, maybe he doesn't think that I'm beautiful, maybe he doesn't feel intimate, or doesn't feel like I'm sexy, which I had to really always signal to like my girlfriends that like, look, it's not about that. It's not like, it's like I wouldn't be with you if I wasn't attracted to you. This is purely personal. This is something that I want to do for myself, and it's something that gives me a lot of energy. And I don't even think that like, being with someone, or like being sexual with someone, like sex isn't even, like sometimes sex isn't even the best part. Like sometimes kissing is really nice. Sometimes like just cuddling with someone is really nice. Sometimes just looking someone in the eyes is really nice. And you can get very energized from that. You can also relax yourself being in that state. And sometimes like if a man is working all the time, if he's building a business, if he's like constantly on the move and he's constantly grinding, sometimes all he wants is just to hold someone that he loves and just feel safe and just feel like, I'm going to do that tomorrow, but right now I just want to relax and be with someone and feel good, And, yeah, that was something that always, it was always something that I thought about when I was doing the 100 days, because it's something that's very, very important to men. I feel like all men should try to discover this energy that they have, this capacity that they have within them to be able to listen to other people, not just women. This does not just go for women, but listening to other men as well, other men who need help, other men who also, without being sexual, like other men like to be intimate with other men. There are a lot of men's groups now being developed around the world, because there is a genuine like missing link of intimacy between men. Obviously it's not sexual, but it's like brotherliness, fathers talking about like raising children, men talking about virtue, men talking about morals, men talking about what they disagree with in the world, men collaborating. All this stuff involves vulnerability, intimacy, accountability, which requires a level of brotherhood that, it's not very common in your day-to-day man, but these groups are necessary because the world is changing, the world is very different, and we need these groups to come together, and we need men to speak about men's problems, and we need them to deal with them, not in an aggressive manly way, but in an organized, intimate, and structured way, which is basically the fundamentals of being masculine, having masculine energy. And so leaving the video with that, this is one of the stories that I had when it came to doing the 100 days of celibacy, and this is why I'd recommend it to anyone, because you will discover an energy like that you've never had before, and it's all really within you. You're building up this energy every single day. You just have to have the capacity to not let go of it and not release it every single time you get irritated, anytime you get upset. Just stick to it, have a good frame of mind, and I promise you, you will discover like the most energy you've ever had in your entire life, just like I did. It helped my relationships with women. It helped finding the right women as well, when you can just remove sexuality out of it and you actually look for like proper values, proper morals in women. You will find yourself a very, very good woman. Then you'll also be able to connect with not just women, but also with men. You'll have the capacity to listen to people a lot more, and you will also have this sort of magnetic energy where people just want to surround themselves around you, and you will see how it affects your life. So if you guys are ever going to try it, leave something in the comments if you have ever tried it, and just let me know how it went, because I love to hear more stories about men's experiences when they do semen retention. And 100 days is very, 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 very difficult to do. So if you can actually do it, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.